Sports is a concept that has been around for thousands of years, going as far back as 7000 BC. And with this, mankind has been able to collectively come together in unison and cheer on their favorite sporting team, whether it be American football, volleyball, tennis, and of course, soccer. Yes, soccer, not football, you maniacs. Now, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of sports in general, however, I can respect how dedicated a lot of people are to consuming their favorite sport. That being said, one thing I'll always be grateful to sports is for gracing us with this. That's right, sports anime. Sports anime is fucking amazing. What makes sport anime so good is the fact that you don't have to be a fan of sports to enjoy the medium. You could hate sports and still be engrossed and entertained by what you're watching, and the reason you feel this way is because of one key thing. Okay guys, this part is very important, so pay attention. Sports anime is just shonen anime in disguise. Let me repeat myself. Sports anime is just shonen anime in disguise. If you're a bit confused, hear me out. Both genres are structured the exact same way. I'll give you an example. So you got a story about a guy who's very passionate about what he does, however he isn't as good as his fellow teammates, one of which is a stuck-up brat that he works very well with, who he ends up building a rivalry with, and as the story progresses, they go through periods of training that make them stronger, and they are progressively fighting stronger and stronger opponents. What I described to you is the plot of Naruto. Now yes, obviously there are a lot of differences when it comes to these two genres, but on a fundamental level, they are almost the exact same. When you look at it with that lens, it makes sense why people would enjoy sports anime because it is extremely similar to the most popular genre in anime. Shonen has been known to put two characters together in a life or death situation. This allows for the build-up of stakes as the fight goes on, but what it also does better than any genre is create hype throughout the fight, whether it be a new power-up that makes the character significantly stronger, or when through sheer determination they refuse to give up. The same applies to sports anime, well without the life or death situation, and this way to create hype is most prevalent in Blue Lock. Blue Lock is a sports manga turned anime that took the anime sports genre and made it its bitch. It specializes in the sport of soccer, and as someone who never personally liked soccer, this series made me get up off my ass and start playing around with the soccer ball. Well, only for a week until I remembered I didn't like soccer that much, but that's besides the point. Even still, what separates this from the other sports anime? Does it have the best characters? No. Does it have the best story? Well, no. What Blue Lock has over any other is the fact that it is hype as fuck. This series managed to take the shonen aspects of sports anime and crank it up to 11. It's extremely stylized, every character has a unique set of skills that they can utilize in their games. When watching it play out, you feel like you're watching a group of characters fight an intense battle through the sport of soccer, and the story just continues to get better and better with every arc, even into the manga. And the way this series is able to make us feel that way is through its stakes. Blue Lock has real stakes. Yes, other sports anime have this too, but it's not as strong as Blue Lock due to the fact that the majority of them take place in a high school. Like, oh no, we've lost the high school nationals, this is the end of the world. There's no recovering from this one, guys. When it comes to Blue Lock, this isn't about the high school nationals. This is the fucking World Cup we're talking about. And in this intensive facility, if you fail to meet up to the standards that are required of you, you can never play for another Japanese team ever again. So yeah, talk about a buzzkill. Oh, you love and cherish this thing you've been doing your whole life? Too bad. You're shit. Get the fuck out of here. So with the stakes at an all-time high and the main character being ranked as one of the weakest players, with this setup alone, you're already starting to feel the hype slowly build up inside of you. And boy, watching Isagi progressively get better and stronger as a player is so much fun to watch. This guy is a psychopath. One minute he's all, hey, I'm a good guy, I'm so nice to everyone, and the next he'll switch up and be like, little bro, I just destroyed these guys' hopes and dreams. This is the best feeling ever. Blue Lock introduces the concept of ego into the sport, in which if you want to be the best in your field, you gotta have the highest ego out of everyone, to the point of having the opportunity for a guaranteed win by passing to someone and letting them score, or by simply being him and taking the shot anyways, even though all the odds are stacked against you. Is this realistic? Well, to an extent, but I wouldn't say it's the end all be all. But is it hype as fuck? Hell yeah, it is. Blue Lock knows perfectly what it wants to be. It decides to make the whole series a training arc, and it wastes no time. It skips the unnecessary filler and gets straight into the action. So not only are you getting a hype game where these guys' careers are on the line, but the characters are also getting better with every game. Power-ups in its simplest term is when something happens to a character that makes them get stronger than they already were in mere seconds. Blue Lock has power-ups with each time you blink. Isagi will be like, oh, I'm shit, what do I do? Then a character will do the slightest thing and Isagi's puzzle pieces will start gracing the screen. Me personally, I've never had any type of feelings associated with puzzle pieces, but for fuck's sakes I do now. When you see Isagi's puzzle pieces, you know shit's about to get serious. Not even just that, if you see any character's eyes go crazy, you know for a fact they're about to evolve into an absolute monster. What makes Blue Lock's power-ups so good is that even though they are more frequent than the amount of times Naruto uses shadow clones, it doesn't feel out of place. And the way they do this is by not making them suddenly become better out of nowhere, but when they are pushed to the absolute limit and are forced to come to a realization about their own skills and overcome the problem they had, which in turn makes them become a better player. So with every character getting power-ups with every game and the stakes being extremely high with constant back and forth between players players, you are just left in a state of unparalleled hype. And due to this lightning pace of characters getting better and better, the competition becomes more tight-locked. At the start, you'd have players that are average to above average, but as the story continues, those characters can't maintain their position, leaving the best of the best to keep pushing forward. This not only raises the stakes, but also the quality of the games, making them more entertaining to watch as every player on the field has their own unique spin to elevate the story. And when I mean every player, I genuinely mean every player. You got characters like Bachira, Rin, Nagi, Chigiri, Baro, just to mention a few that serve as great rivals for the main character. Now I know I've touched briefly on Isagi, but his development from an average player to one of the biggest powerhouses in Blue Lock is one of the funnest journeys to watch I have ever witnessed. And aside from his skill set being spatial awareness to read the game and how it changes, he's able to do something that people should do more often. If you want to change, you have to be willing to break down everything you once were and build yourself back up. Isagi wasn't happy about being one of the worst players in Blue Lock. He actively pursued his goals by diving deep into who he is as a person. He knew he wasn't the type of guy to score a goal from 30 meters away like Baro could, or have insane precision when it comes to ball control like Nagi. So he didn't worry about what he couldn't do. He instead focused on what he could do, and with every game he learned more about himself, he became a better player. And all this was possible with one critical moment that changed the way Isagi thought and what sold me on not only his character, but the story as a whole. The scene I'm talking about is at the end of the first episode. Isagi and a bunch of characters are in a tag-like game where you have to hit someone with a ball within a short period of time, and whoever is the last person with the ball loses and is forced to leave Blue Lock, which also means losing the opportunity to play soccer professionally. And due to a series of unfortunate events because of this guy, on a side note, I absolutely hate this guy, Isagi is the one with the ball, and what seemed like a miracle, he had the opportunity to kick the ball at the guy who stuffed him up in the first place. And as he's about to take this guy out, we hear his internal dialogue, and what follows is one of my favorite scenes in the whole story.
違うな。このままじゃ今までの俺と同じだ。人生変えに来てんだよ。世界一になりに来てんだよ。自分より強いやつに勝たなきゃ何も変われない。いいね君。だよね。潰すなら一番強いやつじゃ。
His decision wasn't due to sympathy. He knew in the back of his mind that if he took this guy out and remained as he was before, he wouldn't survive Blue Lock. He needed to change. He needed to become stronger. So he wouldn't settle for less. He would go after someone who was stronger than him, which is what drove him to take the risk of kicking the ball like Kira, with the help of Bachira, even though he was the best in the room. And this scene was just the calm before the storm, because game after game, this man would hold on to this philosophy and become one of the strongest players on the field. This is what the puzzle pieces represent. His ability to deconstruct himself and gain a better understanding of his skills, which allows him to persevere in the end. Guys, I don't know about you, but that alone is hype as fuck. The series doesn't stop from making the lessons feel hype. And the crazy thing is this only applies to Isagi. Every character has that defining moment in a story that's able to propel them into new heights, and every one of them is just as enjoyable as the last. If you're on the fence about watching this show because you're not a fan of sports or even sport anime in general, give this show a try. I promise it will be worth your time. So yeah, Blue Lock is hype as fuck, but you know what else is hype as fuck? Liking and subscribing to the channel. So if you enjoyed this video, that would be greatly appreciated, and with that, I'll leave you guys to it.